You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Aaron, I'm 36 years old, healthy, single, and have no kids, and I'm practically as free as anyone can be. I make $45,000 as a cubicle zombie. I have no real skills. This is due to me foolishly choosing a pointless degree in paralegal studies in my college years. After working for a few law firms, I realized I'd never be content financially or ethically in that field. This led to a job hopping until I finally landed the position I'm in now, which I've had for over 6 years. My current employer is a fairly new company whose success peaked quickly, but I fear its best days are over and it'll steadily decline here on out. It's an easy, comfy job, so I like to stay here forever, but I just don't see it as a possibility. Staunchly leftist owners focused on the "we're a fun, exciting company" PR bullshit. Yeah, they don't make it. Leftists do not make good business. They don't. Long story short, I'm worried about my future, and since typing emails basically is all I do all day isn't a real skill, I can't trust that I'll land another sweet job like this elsewhere. Thus, I'm weighing my options, one of which is trade school. I'd like to know if you can recommend any lesser-known trades that I should consider. We've all heard about plumbing, HVAC, and electrician programs, but are there any others? I have about $10,000 saved up, and I'm willing to travel across the country for the right school or program. I'll literally go anywhere. I just want to be in an in-demand trade where I can expect to make $45,000 and up afterwards, which is good because all the ones I did the research for come in at minimum that and higher. Can you recommend any other trades, or feel free to suggest something out of left field too? I'm open to anything. Thanks. And it's Craig. Well, thank you very much, Craig. Now just on the onset here, let's admit something. It doesn't have to be lesser-known trades. I've come up with a list of lesser-known trades. But all that really matters is, one, if you're okay with it, like in terms of job and working and conditions, and then that the pay is high enough. That's the only thing that really matters. So don't necessarily say, it has to be this list. Also, I did try to get Mike Rowe to answer this question, and he did not respond because, well, he's Mike fucking Rowe, and he's busier than fuck. So you'll have to settle for me. I do apologize. I did say, hey, maybe Mike Rowe will be the special guest celebrity consultant. And no, he doesn't want to come on Asshole Consultant. I don't know. Maybe he does. I'm going to assume he never got the email. All right, so here's the deal. This is through my own experience and then some researching. And there's pros and cons to all these, but these are all lesser-known traits. Right? The first one, chimney cleaners. This I have personal experience with because they send some 23-year-old kid, and for half an hour of his work, I'm forking over $120 to the company. Now, I'm sure that kid doesn't get all $120, and there's overhead, and the owners get it. But the fact I got to pay essentially $200 an hour to have someone come in and clean, and I've looked at it, I'm like, I could probably do this if I had the gear and the equipment. That is one of the lesser-known ones that I've had personal experience with. So if you're willing to, what does it take maybe a day to figure out how to clean it? I don't know. Somebody with a chimney cleaning background, tell me. But that one seems to be a completely unheard of and unknown little hidden gem. There's heavy equipment operators. They have very average salaries. Not bad, but certainly above $40,000. But you're not going to be retiring rich or anything. It just looks fun as hell to drive those big-ass machines around that you always wanted to. You actually get to be the kid or become what you wanted to be when you were a kid pushing the little Tonka truck around. Underwater welders. Welders make a pretty fair salary, but if you could do it underwater with scuba knowledge and the knowledge of welding underwater, repairing boats, bridges, things like that, that is where a lot of big coin comes into. Requires a little bit more than learning how to clean chimneys, I'm sure, and there's obviously a little bit more danger, but that is something that you may want to look into. Elevator maintenance and repair and installation. Those guys make a damn good salary. Everyone thinks elevators are kind of like, oh yeah, you just have to be a mechanic to figure it. No, they're very specific and precise and unique machines. And so if you know how to work on those, there's some jobs out there for you. Alignment. This is your telephone and power lines that go above and below ground. This is something I've often thought about doing myself because if you look at telephone wires or power lines, they do not follow roads. They go straight up over a mountain. They just go through terrain. And I like hiking, and so you're going to get your exercise out there. So that's something to consider. I also know that a lot of baby boomers who are linemen at the telephone companies and the power companies, they can't find replacements. They can't find millennials to show the fuck up on time. They can't find millennials willing to work for a handsome wage. So there's going to be what I predict to be a shortage of them coming in the next decade or so when the baby boomers start to retire en masse. It is physical work. You got to go out. I have a buddy who works on one of the grids in the United States. He says, yeah, it looks great and exciting. It's fun, but you get called in, it's 10 below zero, and it's December 24th. You got to go fix that thing at 3 a.m. So, you're young, you don't have family, so it's something you could consider. Garbage man! $73,000 a year median salary. I can get stinky for becoming a garbage man. Not bad at all. Dental hygienist. All right, this is misleading. Are you a cute hot girl? No, you're a guy, so you can't become a dental hygienist. If you look at the majority of dentists, they're men. If you look at the majority of dental assistants and dental hygienists they hire, they are hot girls who are under 30 that the dentists want to fuck. And maybe inevitably do. All right? That is going to be a misleading one, I think, because you're not a hot chick. You're male. So if you're going to go down that route, you might as well think about becoming a dentist. But for women that are good looking, yeah, become a dental hygienist. You're paid for your looks. Until I start seeing an ugly dental hygienist, until I see like a guy and not some hot babe, I'm like, dang, I'd like to fuck her before I get my teeth cleaned. Until I see that, don't tell me that it's not looks that has not totally biased and infiltrated that industry. Gunsmithing, not a high-paying career, only $15 an hour, but that just seems like a fun thing that you can do. It is also crafty. There's an element of craftsmanship that comes with it, because, I mean, what guy doesn't like working on guns? It just sounds fun. Wind turbine technician, these guys, they make about $50,000 a year. Kind of like the linemen, you're going to be sent out to the middle of freaking nowhere. And that's cool for people like me. I think, oh, wow, that's cool. You get to go up this tall, multi-hundred feet tall building and work on that, and that seems fun to me. There's also going to be a fair amount of those wind turbines that are in need of repair. The future, I'm not so sure. We'll see if Trump and the Republicans get rid of wind power and start going with things that are more economic. But for now, there's based on wages, there is a fair amount of demand. A mortician or funeral home director. This is a unique one. And if you stick with it, you can become a funeral home director, and they make pretty good money, $80,000 median salary. But that is as you start off as an embalmer, working with cadavers and corpses, and you slowly work your way up to a funeral home director. Now, the funeral home director is more of a businessman or woman than they are a mortician. They're dealing with setting up funerals and selling caskets and all this other stuff. So it's not... if you're into like, I want to embalm and get people's organs out so the bodies don't decay and put them in formaldehyde. If that's your cup of tea, that's cool. You got to do that. But then there's like almost 2/3 of your job becomes running a regular business. Hey, you got dead bodies? We post dead bodies in a very pretty way so everyone could cry over them. Then we drive them to a hole in the dirt in a very funny looking station wagon. So that's kind of, and they, like I said, so you start off as a embalmer, I presume. You get a 2 or 4 year degree in mortuary science, and then you slowly would work your way up to funeral home director. X-ray technician, there is a lot of specialist, technician type positions available in hospitals that you can go get your 2-year certification or some training in. X-ray technician being one of them. I think radiologists, MIR equipment operators, things like that. Look to see if there's something you can get a 2-year degree that make as much as a nurse who went to school for 4 years. And then you'll be like, I press this button. I don't deal with wiping people's asses. No, I press the button. That's what I do. I press it very well. Sometimes I press this other button, but that's an advanced class that I haven't learned yet. I only press that advanced button in case of emergency. So you have that there. Chemical plant operator. This one, I don't know. This just came out of nowhere. You don't need a degree for it. They will train you. I guess you just go to a chemical plant. Say, hey, I'd like to become a chemical plant operator. I'd say, cool, here, we're going to give you some training. Which would be awesome. So that way you don't have to go to college. And then gas or oil rig mechanic or even a worker. The mechanic's obviously going to get paid more than a worker, but I have a friend, female, who works on an oil rig at gas rig on a very, very, very large corporation, and she's a good mechanic. And it's not that she's paid well or that she's just a cool chick too. She just has like a really cool job. She gets to go to different gas rigs and all that. It's that they're like, dude, we need you at this rig. No, now we need you at that one. You could tell she's in demand because she's a good mechanic, and safety is a very important concern over there. So if you could do pipe fitting, welding, all that other stuff, you may want to look at working for the gas or oil rigs. And I know the Bakken oil field isn't what it used to be, but they're still in demand, especially the skilled trades. And then my favorite, because this is probably what I will end up doing, go work for the railroad. You could become a locomotive engineer, not an engineer, like chemical engineer, but the guy who runs the train. You can work on the rail lines. You can work, there's all these different jobs that you can work at the railroad. I like railroads. I like trains. And sometimes it's very boring. You drive it all the way out and you drive it all the way back. You know what? That beats any day being in a fucking cube listening to fucking Lumberg from the goddamn Initech Corporation. All right? The pay is pretty good depending on what you do. I'm just recommending the railroad in general. But another great thing about the railroad is they have their own Social Security program. That right there is the cat's meow for me. So you're working with predominantly guys, no fucking bullshit. They take care of their own. I know guys that work on the railroad, they're set. They're fucking retired at 55. So that's what I would be looking at, is the railroad. So anyway, I hope that helps out. Hope we all learned something. If you got a question and you have money, go to assholeconsulting.com, where I, the world's only professional asshole, will answer it. And then check my other sites out. We got the podcast, the Clary Podcast. You can find that on SoundCloud. We got CaptainCapitalism.blogspot.com. That's where I write brilliant, genius things that everyone should read. And then we got my books. You can find them by going to Amazon.com and searching Aaron Clarey. AARONCLAREY. Best of luck to all of you. Toodles.